Devin. Juan. Yuna.
You know how to do it, Austin.
Yeah, this is my Minecraft video.
Whoa.
Oh, 9.5.
Let's go. I'm so fucking angry.
And that I'm not going to even try to pronounce. On Parlazoost, that's coming up in just a few minutes. First though, North Korea is accusing the United States of declaring war. There's been a lot of threatening statements between the two countries in recent months, what some observers have been calling a war of words. At the United Nations General Assembly last week, both U.S. President Donald Trump and North Korean Foreign Minister Ri Yong-ho spoke out against each other's countries. Then, over the weekend, President Trump tweeted that his Foreign Minister Ri echoed the thoughts of Little Rocket Man, that's a controversial name that President Trump used for North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. The two North Korean leaders, quote, won't be around much longer. Foreign Minister Ri called that an American declaration of war on his country. It said North Korea would have the right to make, quote, countermeasures, including the right to shoot down U.S. bombers at any time, even when they're not in North Korean airspace. He was referring to flyovers that U.S. planes recently conducted over international waters east of North Korea. U.S. State Department says America has not declared war on North Korea and that it continues to push for a peaceful stop to North Korea's nuclear weapons program. The U.S. also says it has a right to fly in international airspace and that no country has the right to fire on other nations' planes or ships in international areas.
This is a very tense situation, and we always hope that cooler heads would prevail. If we fly more strategic aircraft near the North Koreans and they choose to try and shoot one of those aircraft down, this could be a flashpoint. If the North Koreans feel that they're being overly threatened and choose to fire some sort of rockets, missiles, artillery into South Korea and strike American forces. We have just over 30,000, approximately 30,000 U.S. forces stationed in Korea. This could become a flashpoint, which will lead to greater trouble. This is a powder keg right now, but this is something that we need cooler heads on both sides to be really beginning to prevail here.
Every missile launch by North Korea is considered by most to be a provocation, but it's more worrying than that. Every launch takes North Korea one step closer to its stated goal of being able to hit mainland United States with a nuclear-tipped missile. Now, the regime has tested intercontinental ballistic missiles this year. The leader, Kim Jong-un, claims he already has major US cities in his sights. But how close is he exactly? There are a number of questions that remain to be answered. Does Pyongyang have a warhead that can re-enter the Earth's atmosphere without burning up? Experts simply don't know. Does Pyongyang have a nuclear weapon that's small enough to fit on the tip of a missile, i.e., has it militarized a nuclear warhead? Now, Kim Jong-un claims he already has done that, although some experts refute that claim. But US officials say that they have to take him at his word. They have to work under the assumption that he has that capability. Kim hopes that every ICBM test will improve on the last, and the closer he gets to achieving an effective nuclear arsenal, the harder it will be to convince it to give it up.
North Korea is one of the countries listed in the Trump administration's new travel restrictions that were announced this week. The rules keep certain people from entering the U.S. People from the nations of Chad, Iran, Libya, North Korea, Somalia, Syria, Venezuela, and Yemen. After announcing the travel ban on Sunday night, President Trump said, quote, "Making America safe is my number one priority. We will not admit those into our country we cannot safely vet, meaning investigate beforehand." And an official from the Homeland Security Department said the new rules will help keep terrorists and criminals from entering the U.S. The previous travel ban was established by an executive order 3 months ago. and it was challenged in court. It applied to people in 6 countries and was temporary. It expired Sunday night. One difference between the two, besides some of the countries named, is that the new restrictions are indefinite. A government official said they're based on conditions, not time. Critics said the previous version discriminated against Muslims, since the countries that were part of it had Muslim-majority populations. The Trump administration denied this, saying the vast majority of the world's Muslims were not affected. But immigration rights groups say the government only added countries like North Korea and Venezuela to the new ban to support its legal argument that it's necessary for national security. They say the new ban still unfairly targets Muslims. U.S. Supreme Court was scheduled to hear arguments next month on the legality of the travel ban, but because it's been replaced by the new version, the court has removed that hearing from its schedule and will now consider whether the issue is moot. This may mean that the legal process concerning the ban would start over. 10-second trivia. Welsh is a Celtic language that's still spoken in what country? Finland, United Kingdom, Iceland, or Italy? Part of the United Kingdom. Around 20% of the people in Wales still speak Welsh, a language whose roots date back to the 8th century, according to Encyclopedia Britannica. And while you don't need to be fluent to pronounce the superlative name of a Welsh town, it wouldn't hurt. We're going there right now, one of many unique and fascinating places we'll take you to as we kick off a new series in partnership with our friends at Great Big Story. Female passengers for Clamart, Quingate, go get it, Twin Tropics, Santa Video, go. Anybody? No? Anything for Sunday?
Sunday for Quingate, go get it, Twin Tropics, Santa Cecilia, go.
Right. It's a small town in northern France. Around 76% of the population here speaks Welsh. It's also the longest town name in Europe, with 58 letters. There are literally 4 L's next to each other. Right there. What is with this name?
Llanfair Pwllgwyngyll Gogerach Gwyrndrobl San Cecilio Go is not the original name of the village.
You've got to be kidding.
In the 1860s, the name was contrived by the local cobbler, and it was meant to bring in people and tourists.
Alan, help us break this name down.
The name means places within the village. You've got the Church Mary in the hollow of the White Hazel, near to the rapid whirlpools, and the Church of Cecilio and the Red Cave.
Okay, so let's say you want to mail a letter. Do you have to write the whole name, Postmaster Jim Evans?
You could, but you'd have to write very small. Or you could use a shortened version, which is the first 20 letters.
If you play for the local football league, does the name fit on your jersey, team manager Steve Smith?
It does, and it's the longest name of any football team in the world. And it just about fits.
But can you put it in a song? Apparently you can. Transfer put.
Llanfair Pwllgwyngyll Gogerach Gwyrndrobl San Cecilio Go.
It might be the greatest PR stunt of the mid-1800s. I don't know, even up today. After all, we're here. Here in Llanfair Pwllgwyngyll Gogerach Gwyrndrobl San Cecilio Go.
Go.
For 10 out of 10 today, who wants the pancakes? These are professional chefs, and they're chucking up a record. After a whole mess hall of them fried flapjacks for almost 8 hours, they served up 12,716 griddle cakes. The Guinness World Record from Moscow, Russia. And listen, let's just have the pancakes. Hey, that's good. We're not family members of the
Bye, have a good day. Warm up this morning. Loud.
I got one. I got a big. My shit bigger than yours. Tyler, look. I was making a. See, that's what I was talking about.
I'm gonna start doing it like Corey X Kitchen. You know who Corey X Kitchen is? Corey X Kitchen. He's the famous YouTuber with 2 million subscribers.
See, I was making.
You don't know who that is?
No,
He has 2 million subscribers. How do you?
I don't watch him.
He's awesome. Just check out his channel.
Can I play with your slime? No. Stop.
I know how you are. I don't trust you with anything. Oh, I trust you with something.
recording?
No,
What's your
idiot.
YouTube channel?
Sit down and get started on your warm up.
Oh, did you? No, that was the old one, Tyler. Did you search that one out though? Go to